the final round. Santa Pod Raceway. We're back in England again. It's top fuel time, and as Darrell has just said, any one of 4 drivers could take the championship. Will it be another final win for Andy Carter? He snatched the championship a couple of times in the past, right down to the last race. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Lex, when you went into your first season of Top Fuel Racing, what were your expectations then?
Well, we not really had a lot of expectations because it's the first year, new team, new car, everything is new. So what can you expect? What we expected is to do good, to find a setup for a car that has run 4-4s in the States. But everybody knows that a car that runs good in the States will not be really ready to run in Europe because the circumstances are different. So, yeah, what we wanted to do is have a tune-up for the car.
And looking back, what are your highs and your lows of this season?
Well, we had a pretty high with a wheel stand, what basically was a low, but well, it gave us the spirit to continue, to come back and to win the event. The lows are the fact that the weather is really affecting racing. But yeah, okay, that's something you have to deal with. The highs are we run 4.7s in Montorp. The lows are then we could not back up the record because basically it would have been a European record. But after all, it's a real high because we are leading the championship from first meeting on, and that's something we really didn't expect. We know we got everything okay, good team, good car, but being in this position right now is something you can call a really high. So.
Tell me about your team. Do you have a lot of guys from your old days, or is it a completely new team?
We got two guys from the old team, and the rest is all new. And Top Fuel Racing is a really difficult thing, so it takes some time to get everybody in place. Of course, we got Eddie Core as a tuner with us, most experienced guy you can find. So that helped us a lot. And with the experience I've got from my previous racing and our sponsors as well, NPM, we could get a good situation during the year. And right now, yeah, basically it's awesome. Everything is falling together. And okay, we're still not where we want to be, but almost getting there. So yeah, good.
Well, Lex Young very much in with a chance for the championship this year, but I wonder, can this man, Andy Carter, snatch the championship at the 11th hour? He's done it in 2 preceding years. Let's get some words from him.
We have to basically qualify above Lex and win the event, but Lex needs to go out in either the first or second round. If Lex advances to the final, then we can't win it.
And how's the situation right now?
Situation right now is we're number 2 qualifying, Lex is number 4, so that's ideal for us. If we can stay ahead of Lex going into the eliminations tomorrow, we got a fantastic chance.
Tommy Möller and his team is one of the teams that can claim the championship at the European Finals this year. Kenneth, you came to this season with a brand new car and a lot of new team members. What were your expectations at that time?
Oh, we had a new car, but the team members are the same from last year. So we are really a working team now, and the car was an ex-Doug Herbert car, and it is a really good car, but it needs to be sorted out with the parts we have, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's not just to bring a fast car from the States over here. It's completely different ball game here, isn't it?
It is. It's not just the car. It's the car. It's the parts that goes with the car, the engine and the clutch and all the pneumatic stuff in it, and the electronic and the tuning and all the guys around.
Karsten, I know that you're one of the technical thinkers of this car, and I know you also developed that traction thing there. How is it to work for these guys?
Great, we're having fun, we're having the same kind of humor, we can laugh and we can almost cry together. It works really, really good, I must say that.
So what do you say about the season so far? Did you have any use of all the new gadgets you invented?
Well, I don't think the season started the way we would have liked it to, and we're probably not the only ones thinking that. But we're getting there. We're getting there. There's so many. This new chassis responds in a totally different way, and it takes time to figure it out. And we had some gremlins, and but yeah, hopefully we'll get there.
I know that you have a lot of technical thinkers in the team, but who is making the final decision on it all?
Oh, the final decision is probably me, but we do it together. Per and Carsten and I, we work like one brain. It's working really great.
So, what's going to happen at this particular event?
If the weather is with us, we probably can get in. We'll get there, hopefully in the final. We have been struggling a little bit here right now, but we found the problems, and we hopefully going to get out and get the number one qualifying.
And what do you need to do to claim the championship?
Oh, we need to go one round more than Lex Joan, who is the leader, and there is still I think it's 7 points between us then. So we need to be number one qualifier or go 2 rounds more than Lex.
Well, good luck, guys.
Keith Bartlett, promoter of the FIA European Drag Racing Championships, has joined us now in a break in the racing. Keith, this is the final event of the season. It hasn't been the easiest season, has it?
Probably our most difficult season for at least the last 5 years. This is the 4th event that's been seriously rain affected. In some cases the races have been absolutely cancelled, and that just absolutely throws the whole championship into disarray, and it means some people who may have had extra points didn't get the chance to gain those points, and it just changes the whole balance of the championship, especially coming into this last round.
Okay, it's not really very fair for the drivers, I suppose, travelling all that way. Is there anything that you want to sort of say to them?
You can't say anything. That's racing. They know what happens. What's really been exciting this weekend here, it's going to probably go down to 2 or 3 teams now, whereas it may have been sewn up at the last round. So the exciting thing for everyone this weekend is it's going to go down to the wire in 2 or 3 of the classes.
Well, here we are then, the final round. It's Santa Pod again. We've been weather affected here, and we've had all sorts of weather this weekend, Darryl.
Well, it's rained some more. Thursday and Friday started out with absolutely glorious weather. We got 2 great qualifying runs on the Friday for Top Fuel. Unfortunately, Thomas didn't make the cut. He only made 1 Top Fuel qualifying run, and he didn't make it into the field. So his championship chances are done for this year, but some spectacular quarter-final action still to come. First pair that came out, Gary Page in a carbon by design Top Fuel drag, so ran real good in qualifying. Finally, after a year of real struggles, ran a 5.05 up against Lex Young, who could seal the championship today.
Yeah, indeed. And Lex was out number 4 qualifier with a 4.99. Gary not that far behind him, as you said, a 5.05. So Gary out to spoil Lex Young's party here, let me tell you. But it wasn't to be. Gary got into all sorts of problems. The experienced driver just couldn't hold the car. And look at that, a 4.93 for Lex Young. He takes out Gary Page. Now he's in with a massive chance of being the champion. Talking of massive, we've got a colossal crowd in here for the finals at Santa Pod, and the MPM Oils car looking good right the way through. Here's our next pair.
Yeah, next pair that came out, Andy Carter with the B&Q rail. Andy hasn't had his normal fantastic weekend. Ran pretty good in qualifying on his second qualifying shot up against Tommy Muller. Now, one of the 2 big guys is going to go home here. Tommy Muller all the way from Sweden. Andy Carter has done this before. He's come from way behind, and unfortunately, Andy.
Red light. Yeah, we say it together. Well, there you are. That just shows you Andy's so anxious to try and snatch this title right at the 11th hour. And Tommy Muller takes the win. You can see Andy really red lights in a big way and throws away.
I did actually talk to him just afterwards. He did say he was having trouble holding the car in stage, so I know Andy intentionally wouldn't do anything like that, and real shame for him and the team, but I'm sure he'll be back next year. Anyway, third pair that came out, John Webster in the Webster Race Engineering Silver Arrow, as you like to call it.
I do.
Up against Suzanne Colleen, ran her first 4-second, 300-mile-an-hour run in qualifying. Tremendous race all the way down. Suzanne leading. Unfortunately, the engine goes away, but a 5.02 still real good for her.
Yeah, great race for Susan Colleen. And look, if we just watch this, remember she's only 21 years of age, turns 22 in October. And the experience now of John Webster, he stays with them all the way down the track. but it's Suzanne Kalin who takes the win. It's not the same car, although it looks like it. This is Joran Pashorka, and of course Joran was our number 8 qualifier. In round number 1, he meets the number 1 qualifier, Miki Kagaran, but it looks as though there's some mega problems there, Daryl.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joran can't get the car in reverse. What he's going to have to do is trickle off the racetrack, get out of Mickey's way, waves goodbye to the crowd at Santa Pod. Mickey takes a nice, easy squirt, if you can call it that, in a top fuel car, off the starting line. He knows he's through into the semi-finals, wants to save parts, pieces, and this afternoon as well. Time is one of the most important things to get the car ready for his semi-final date.
Indeed, so this is how it's setting up for the semi-finals. Miki Kagaran meets Lex Yohn, championship contenders, those two. Tommy Moller, championship contender, up against Suzanne Kalin.
I'm in Mika Kagaran's pit area, and Miki, you had quite an easy win this time.
I think Joran Persson couldn't hit the reverser, so yeah, it was an easy one.
Well, after this, Alan Jackson, the tuner of the car, you don't have really much to go on, do you?
Well, the launch is a lot of the run, actually. You can't tell a great deal about what's going to happen just from a launch, so it was planned for us, so we'll be okay.
So you're up to Lex Yohn next. What's in your mind now? Thinking about stepping up and all that, and how do you do it?
Well, we always run our own game, really, but obviously we will bear that in mind. He's running good, so hopefully we can beat him.
Well, if you're thinking about this, tuning the car, what are the things you actually do to tune a car?
Well, there's so many things you can adjust on these cars. It would take hours to explain it all, but basically you can add more clutch, but you have to add more fuel, and it's a tricky deal, and it can shake on you if you're not careful. So it's like walking a tightrope.
Yeah, it's kind of the clutch affecting the engine affecting the clutch, and so on.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what it's like, and they're a tricky thing. It isn't easy.
And here we are. This is Miki Kagaran. At long last, Mickey's fortunes, I hope, are changing. He was our number 1 qualifier here. And of course, Thomas Nators, who was also a championship contender, didn't even qualify into the top 8. But here is Lex Yohn.
Lex, so close to winning the championship now. Tell us what's happened after that quarter-final race.
Well, we had to run against Gary Page, who, well, is basically a classic for me because we both are full Finnico racers. And my crew chief Eddie, well, he put everything in the car he knew to get it from A to B. We left the start line. I didn't see Gary, so I had a good light and car shook. But I just thought, well, just leave the pedal in, don't pedal it, see what will happen. And then towards the 8, the car just went. It was incredible. We ran 303 speeds. It's the fastest speed I ever run. And as far as I know, we run a low ET of the meeting, so that gives us a 5 extra points. So yeah, we're really looking really good, really happy.
Well, here we go. There you are. He is getting close to the championship. But there's a problem here, Daryl.
Oh no, Lex being told to shut off by one of the guys on the starting line. He's got to leak out the front of the engine. Miki Kagaran again gets a freebie. 2 in a row in one day is almost unheard of in Top Fuel, and Lex's crew almost walk away in disgust. They've worked so hard. That could be the end of their championship chances right there with that little leak on the starting line. Now, just to explain, you can't let these race cars go anywhere at all with any kind of leakage, because a small leak on the starting line, as you always say, John, will turn into a torrent on the run. It was for his own safety, but I'm sure he doesn't feel like that about it right now.
Well, it's our next pair coming out here. Let's grab a word with Tommy Moller.
And the car will have a bigger red light, so we win. That's fine for us. We must have a low ET so we can fix the more points, so we can win the European Championship, and we must win the final.
Okay, Suzanne, won against John Webster. How did the run go? Tell us about it.
It went quite well. Like I said, I went through, all really pleased with it. I had to pedal it once, it shook a bit, but I went down the track and now it's just next one. Right now we're changing the bottom part of the engine to be really fit for the next round. So
I tell you what, Darryl, it's getting so close now. Everybody is counting these points, aren't they?
Yeah, Tommy Muller in with a shout. If he can get low ET and if he can win the event, he's got a small obstacle called Susan Kalin in the other lane. And oh dear, Susan blows the sides off. So does Tommy Muller. Oh my goodness, all over the place. You can just see how much that Pennzoil Top Fuel car flexed all over the racetrack. Oh my goodness, that crew must feel so lucky. But they get into the final. Suzanne smokes the tyres, a bit of a bang and a flash, but Tommy Muller head of flames trying to burn the edges of the wings off there. He's the one very, very brave man to keep stabbing it like that. Saying that, I'd probably do the same thing. But into the final against Mickey Cogaran.
Yeah, well, that's it. It sets up the final now. The man who has got a chance of taking the championship here in 2005, coming right down to the wire, is this man, Sweden's Tommy Muller. But standing in his way, another Swedish driver, Mickey Cogaran.
Mickey, just before going into the finals, what are your final thoughts for us?
We have a really good car just now, so I hope I can win the race. But the track is, I think the track has gone away, so it's going to be a rough one. So, but I'm looking forward to the final.
Well, as you can see, it's now into the early hours of the evening. This has been a very weather-affected event here, and they are out there. Mickey was quite right. I think the track is a little bit of a problem now.
Oh, dear, a bit of a problem as well. Mickey shakes the shoes out. Tommy blows the tyres off again, gives it one little last stab to get it across the finish line. I think that was probably a little bit of frustration as well, because not only did he want the event win, he really, really wanted those few extra points for the championship. And Tommy moving on through there. You can see head of flames over the wing. Absolutely spectacular. All those people that waited in the weather for the whole weekend got what they came to see. Tommy Muller, oh dear, all over the place in the pitch black. What a fantastic way to end the event.
We must have a low ET, but we have a new PSI blower, and this one gives us so much boost, so we going up in the smoke every time here. So yeah.
Yeah, but you definitely won the event.
Yeah, of course. But we will be European Championship.
Looking for next year already, are you?
Of course, we are there now.
Well, there you are. He tried his hardest, but it didn't quite work out for him. The man who won the championship, Lex Joon and the MPM car.
This feels great.
Yeah, well, this is top. Something we didn't really realize at the beginning of the series. It's really great.
Celebration.
Yeah.
Wow, what a tremendous win for Lex Joon from Holland with the MPM Top Fuel car there, winning by 4 points over Tommy Muller from Sweden by virtue of low elapsed time of the race. What a tremendous battle in 2005, which is hope 2006 will be as good. Moving on now to FIA Pro Stock. The championship is just about sewn up here, but Jimmy Olin could still trip up, and you never know what the rest of the guys are going to do.
But Jackie Hansen isn't here. So, Michael Malmgren plus Magnus Hansen and Ulf Jonsson are all going to be looking for possibly the number 1 spot, but certainly the number 2 spot in the championship. Here's Magnus.
Magnus Hansson is currently number 4 in the series, and you brought a brand new car to this season, Magnus. And what expectation did you have at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, the expectations were quite big. Obviously, the car is I think the best car. The best car from the States in 2004, most winningest Pro Stock car ever. So of course the expectations were high. We don't have any new engines for this season, but we quite soon noticed that we are running a lot faster and a lot more consistent than last year. So we are very happy with the car. It's working really good, but. Because of the rainouts in Sweden and Norway, we are just in the 4th place, and we're not happy with that.
Well, so you're still struggling to learn the car, so to speak.
Yeah, of course we have so few racing events in Europe, so. It takes time, but I think we have the car on the right spot now. We did struggle on the first event here in May. In Finland we drove very well. The race car drove very well. I didn't in the elimination there. I lost on the reaction time against Jackie, so that's not the car's fault. And then at Mantorp and Gardermoen the car was running really great. We were a low qualifier at both those events, and so we're feeling a little bit unlucky with the weather and so. And of course, we came here now with great expectations too. We didn't run so very well yesterday, because it's always. I mean, the track is always. Different before last time you were here, and so we really need 4 qualification rounds. Everybody does that, so to get the car on the right spot for race day.
Yeah, we're still hoping that we could manage to get another qualification round today.
Yeah, we are really holding our thumbs together to get that, because I think if we can find a spot in the car, then we will be very dangerous to the other competitors. So we're aiming to win this event because we still have the chance to become second in the championship. So, and that will feel much better than being fourth.
Well, I do wish you luck.
Thank you.
Well, there you are. That's Magnus Hansen feeling very, very confident. But the man who I'm fairly certain is going to win the championship this year, going into the last round, is this man from Sweden, last year's champ, Jimmy Oland.
Jimmy Oland probably is going to be the champion this season. Jimmy, what are the absolute highs and the lows of this season?
Well, it's been a really strange season with a lot of rainouts, and we couldn't finish at Mantorp because of the permission to run there. And well, the high thing on the season was Finland, I think. When not in qualifying, but in eliminations, we got everything together there and running some 699s and looking good for the final. And then we didn't have an opponent in the final, but we couldn't do anything about that. But the low, well, first race here we went all the way to the final, but we had clutch problems all the time. So maybe that was the low point, except the rain out in Norway, of course.
So, I've seen you change the color of the car. I guess you changed it a little bit more, but tell us about the color change.
Well, we thought it was time to do something. I mean, we had been running the same color since 2003, and we were supposed to change it before the season, but we didn't have time, or the painter didn't have time. So we changed it before Mantorp. We thought it was a good idea because it was our home track, and come out with something new.
What's more then? I guess it's a lot more new things coming into the car during the season.
Well, we changed to some titanium springs in the back. We bought a new transmission in it, and we changed the clutch stuff a little bit around, and that's basically what we've done. So basically it's the same stuff that went on the car last season, except for some changes.
Well, it might be that you are the champion for the second year in a row. What is the secret to it?
Well, I don't know. Hard work, commitment from the team members, and we think it's still fun to run Pro Stock. And maybe that's what you need.
Well, another man with a grand dam is this man. A man coming back from championship winning status, now back into the sport of drag racing again. So good to have him back from Sweden, Jan Moren.
We're pretty disappointed so far, but we changed almost everything on the car till today, so we'll see. We're pretty confident that we can improve on our qualifying time, but during the night it rained and we don't know what the track is, so we'll see.
Looking back at the season, did it get as you expected?
No, didn't. We have done 13 rounds so far when we came into this event, so it's been rain off, so I'm disappointed at that, but you can't help that. I mean, it's the same for everyone.
Well, Christo, to drive a Pro Stock car is a pretty busy thing. But I will start first with the burnout, because a lot of people ask what the burnout is. We do the burnout, I'll roll up to the water and put the transmission in third gear and stop in the water. And then rev the motor up to like 7,000 RPM. I have my gauge to watch the RPM, and then I shift fourth gear, fifth gear. Then I let the line lock go and let the car go out to make a clean, long burnout to get some heat on the tires and get the track clean. Then I back down to the start where the guy stopped me, and I stop and I put the shifter in neutral and check all my gauges, make sure the vacuum, the oil pressure, everything is okay. I put the switches on for the computer and put on the electrical shocks that are tuned by these different boxes here where we set a setting for the electrical shocks. Then I roll up to the pre-stage and I clutch in the car with my clutch pedal, and here also I have a little switch that controls the starting RPM that we set, that's operated by the clutch itself. So when I go into the stage, before that I'll put on first gear and I put up some brake pressure, and then I slide the car in to the stage light to have the car in race position. As soon as I reach that and my opponent also have the both lights on, I put the full throttle on. It's full throttle, but it's controlled by the switch on the clutch that the motor does the RPMs. It actually keeps the motor on the activated starting RPM. And as soon as the yellow comes on, I let the clutch go, and then I shift second, third, fourth, fifth. Everything goes within about a second each time. I pull second gear in about up to 1 second, and after that I have about 130 miles per hour. It takes about less than 60 feet. I mean, it goes very, very fast. And then I do all my gears, and after fifth gear I pull the chutes about 6.9 seconds. I click off the motor with my ignition switch, I put off the fuel pumps, and then I put off the shocks and the accessories, and the run is over. Hopefully we have a good ET looking on the scoreboard.
Well, here we are then. It's the finals. We're here at Santa Pod. Qualifying, there's only 6 of them, Darryl, but great qualifying.
Yeah, superb qualifying runs as well. Nice to see Michael Malmgren move back up the order again, but Jimmy Holland, his usual unstoppable self with the 695. Strange to see Magnus Hansen all the way down in number 4 with the 701. Only strange because Magnus has been number 1 of the last 2 rounds in Mantorp and in Norway as well.
Okay, well, first pair brings out Michael Malmgren, and in the opposing lane, Ulf Jonsson. Now then, Ulf Jonsson was the number 5 qualifier in the Dodge Adventure. Michael Malmgren in this very, very pretty Grand Am was our number 2 qualifier. And between them, there was something like 1.5 tenths of a second. So, it should be Michael Malmgren taking the win, but it wasn't to be that way.
No, Ulf Jonsson with a massive hole shot. As you can see, a car length win, 7.13 to 7.11. Now, normally hole shot wins are by a few hundredths of a second. That was about a tenth. The team will be very, very happy with that in what looks like it being Ulf's last race in Pro Stock.
Okay, well, next pair that came out put the new Grand Am of Jan Muren up against Magnus Hansen. Now remember, Magnus is a contender for that number 2 spot in the championship. Wow, Jan Muren books it on the start line.
Hardly ever see anything like that from a pro stocker. 699, 198, much more like the form we expect to see from Magnus Hansen. And Jan Muren, as soon as he dumps the clutch, the car just doesn't go anywhere. Sits, squats, and hardly moves at all. That's the sort of thing you expect from a fuel car when the clutch locks up, not from a pro stocker.
Well, here we are, the final pair then. As I said earlier on, there are only 6 entered for this event, but it's the Cavalier, the GM Cavalier of the man they like to call Nixon, Richard Sundblom, coming up against the champ-elect. That's Jimmy Holland in the hot rod-looking Pontiac Firebird, and it's all Jimmy Holland powering through and gives us a great 6.96 run. Well, I think that now seals Jimmy Holland as the 2005 champion. Let's get some words from him.
You have actually now won the main championship event, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Now I'm the champion again, and I'm really happy about that. 2 years in a row, that feels nice. This has been a strange season though, with rainouts and delayed racing and stuff like that, but well, if you're the champion, it means that you got most points, I guess, so I'm happy.
Jimmy Holland there, the Reaper painted on the front of the car. Obviously he's got a little toy one in his pits as well to play with, just to keep himself happy in between the rain this year. So Jimmy Holland, a bye run in the semi-final.
Lucky man, isn't he?
Very lucky man. Well, actually technically he's lucky and good. He qualified number 1 with a 6-car ladder. If he won the first round, meant he gets this bye run, so he had to be good in the first place to get there. And I think what we're going to see here is Jimmy trying a setup on the race car to see how it works, and spinning the tyres and a little bit out of shape and a little bit even more out of shape. You don't often see a pro stock car move around that much. 7.32 for Jim.
Jimmy, that was a little bit of a trouble-filled bye run.
Yeah, we need to work some more on the clutch, I think, but it gave us some answers, and that's what we're looking for.
Well, second pair then. coming out in this semi-final session puts Ulf Jonsson up against Magnus Hansen. Now, Ulf Jonsson must be feeling so good, having driven round Michael Malmgren in the first round. But let's get some words from Magnus.
We did a very nice, smooth run with no problems, 6.99, so we're very pleased.
Okay, and is that right? You're sort of more or less in second position for the championship now. Tell us about the points table.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that we passed both Micke Malmgren and Jacke Hansen with this win because Malmgren went out. I'm quite sure that we're being the number second in the championship, which feels very great.
Car hooked up 60-foot time real good, and this is the first time since the main event. And out the last 200-300 feet it was real loose, but that's a little bit easier to fix. So hopefully we're going to run good times now. Going to be down to the 7.0s again.
Well, he needs something here, Darrell, because he's up against that winning car of Magnus Hansen.
Oh, unfortunately, Ulf just shows it a little bit too close. Pulls a red on the tree, and he sends himself packing for the weekend. A 7.20 probably wouldn't have got it done against Magnus. The crew, little bit dejected there, but Magnus Hansen's team into their first final of the year.
I thought I saw the red light, his red light in the starting line, but you're never sure. So I held on it till I saw the pictures on my scoreboard that I have won. So then I shut it off.
Well, it really does produce an interesting final, Darrell, because we got the numbers, what we think now are the numbers 1 and 2 men in the championship this year, facing off in the final in the dark.
Yeah, Magnus Hansen's had a really, really good season. Unfortunately, luck's deserted him, but it looks like he should do really well in his first final this weekend.
I'm feeling great. It's always fun to be in the finals. That's why we're here. We're aiming to win. Now we're quite pleased because we know we are getting the second spot in this championship. So the final doesn't matter in that position because we're really looking for our first victory in Pro Stock. So it would be really great to get it here today.
Well, we didn't get the wheelie bars right, so they wasn't adjusted right. So when I left the line, the car left fine, but after a while it started getting out of the groove and I lost the traction. So I pedaled a couple of times and then I got out of it. So I was trying to go for lane choice, and we have lane choice anyway. So
you're working frantically to get it ready for the final now?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty hectic right now. So I need to work on the engine here. Right.
We'll leave you to it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hectic isn't the word for it. The really late start in the day made for some exciting turnarounds, some very, very quick turnarounds. So this could be anybody's race. Both of them have run 6-second elapsed times today. Put it into stage, revs up, away they go. Oh, look at that close race. And Jimmy Holland nearly joins Magnus Hansen in the left-hand lane. That will mean Magnus Hansen takes his first ever FIA Pro Stock win at 7.01. Jimmy Holland chasing him down literally by crossing the centre line. The team can't really care less. They got their first ever win. Both leave the starting line, almost identical reaction times. Jimmy wasn't giving that up for anyone. Not often that you see that kind of thing happen.
Did you see him at any time?
Oh yeah, I think in the middle of the track we were quite close together. So, but and I also saw when he shut off, so that felt great.
Well, the man I picked out when he first came into Pro Stock a couple of seasons ago, Jimmy Holland takes the win yet again, the 2006 FIA Pro Stock champion. But the big worry for him is that there are lots of other drivers now coming up that ladder. Magnus Hansen, for instance. Jan Muren back in racing again, and of course never ever discount Michael Malmgren. 2006 is going to be really exciting. Now, it's top methanol funny car. Urs Urban is the champion-elect. Can anybody else, any of the other drivers, do anything about that this year?
Well, Dan, I do remember you saying to me in the beginning of the season that you're just testing this new engine combination.
I'm still testing.
Well, how did your expectations change during the season?
Of course, we was beginning with the testing, but the setup was pretty close to what we have expected will come later in the season. So it was working just after a couple of runs. So now we're still testing, but the testing is very good.
Yeah, it's been pretty much you and Urs this season.
Yeah, I must say that me and Urs qualified number 1 and 2 the whole season. 2 finals and 2 rain off, and now we are here. I don't know what's happening here, but I hope I will go in the final. But I don't hope I will meet Urs here. He should be out earlier.
Well, we have been able to run some qualification. What is the situation right now?
Urs have run 571 and we have run 582. And now I hope we can take a run more to get it better.
If we're looking back at the season, how did main event go for you?
Main event was very good. We have a test run and we run 620 or something, and we give a little more clutch and run 585. And after that we run pretty good and go in the final with Urs. But he was a little faster than us, but we run 578, and it was pretty good for the first race with a new engine.
And then we moved on to Finland.
Yeah, it was fantastic because we could run 581 and Urs do the same, but a little faster, a couple of 100 or 1,000 I think, and we go in the final there too. And this run in Finland was very good for both of us because the track is not like in Santa Pod.
And we went on to Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden. I was qualified number 1 with 3,000, I think, and there was some rain also, so I had the chance to go by Urs to that run because he was out in the first run. So the rain was coming, so I only get 20 points in from him.
Tell you what, it's incredible the way these guys are working out all these points. They know exactly what they've got to do. But this man and this team, I'm sure, are feeling very, very confident. Here he is, the 2 times champion from Switzerland, Urs Urbacher.
Okay, right now is the situation is not that bad for me because I'm leading the championship now, but there is Dan Larsen right behind me. So I need to win 1 or 2 rounds more, so we are sure the champion for this year.
Well, there you are. He knows exactly what he's got to do. Hello, everyone. I'm John Price. We're here at the finals at Santa Pod. It's methanol time. Sitting right next to me is Darrell Bradford, and he's setting out his store, really. Number 1 qualifier, Urs Urbacher.
Yeah, storming 5.71 second run alongside Dan Larsen at number 2, 582. They both ran that side by side on Friday. Unfortunately, only 2 qualifying runs for the methanol funny cars this weekend due to weather, as we said before, and a real tough field to get in. And in fact, that tough. Urs Urbacher in the first round, number 1 last year, comes up against number 2 in the championship last year, Ulf Leanders. Now, this was actually the final from 1 year ago to decide the title.
Yeah, indeed. And just watch what happens here. Coming up to the staging beams, that electronic wizardry which controls the start line. The one thing you don't want to do is pull a red light, and it's exactly what Urs Urbacher does. He gets to the top end first, but he goes out on a red light.
Yeah, he would have won that with a 590 and anything but a red light virtually. I mean, he really, really must be kicking himself. That was the first pair out. Opens the door about a mile wide for Dan Larsen to walk right through into the championship.
Oh, absolutely. So the next pair came out. We are at quarter-final stage here, looking back at that. Nicholas Anderson, the man who had beaten Urs Urbacher at Mantorp Park, came up against Martin Lundqvist, part of the Ulf Leanders squad.
Yeah, Martin Lundqvist and Ulf Leanders, part of a 2-car team, really starting to pay dividends. Martin had a great time in qualifying, ran his first ever 5, a 5.95. What they do is they share information. The whole idea of 2-car teams is you get 2 runs at the racetrack as opposed to 1 because you can set the cars differently. Martin having a great weekend, but unfortunately fell to Nicholas Anderson in the first round.
Okay, well, next pair that came out, Dan Larsen was coming up against this comparative new man to us at Santa Pod, Kjell Froblom. And Kjell Froblom looking very nice in this machine. He was our number 7 qualifier, Dan our number 2, and you saw the car right out in front, but of course it wasn't exactly as it seemed.
Dan, oh dear, talk about a wrist-slitting moment. Dan Larsen with the championship wide open for him to take, because Urbacher pulled a red light, red lit himself.
Yeah.
He is going to be almost inconsolable. I doubt whether he'll come back from the top end to see his crew after that one.
Well, here we go. The next pair then in this quarter-final stage puts Leif Andreasen against Arvid Groden. Now, on previous form, it should have been Leif Andreasen's race, but Arvid Groden was storming.
Absolutely the best race of the first round of Top Methanol Funny Car. Arvid Grodem all over the lane. Leif Andreasen goes straight down it, but Arvid's the one that gets there first. Fantastic win for the team from Norway and his first 5.8. Here is Urs Urbacher with some exciting news.
Okay, Urs, congratulations. You retained your title once again. How are you feeling?
It's feeling really good because it's our third title in a row. That's what we want to do this year. Before we quit the class, we want to move up to Top Fuel, and we are really happy about that.
Okay, but what happened in the first run? Because you went out on a red light.
Yeah, because Ulf Leanders is really fast. He have the fastest car in Europe. He running 5.66 last year. I know that, and then I gave everything on the light. It was a little bit too much. I losing on the lights 2,000.
Well, never mind. You still got your title again. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations from us in the commentary box. First semi-final up and coming. Here's Arvid Grodem.
It was a hard ride, and but I did a personal best ET and a personal best speed, so I'm really, really happy. And so are my team, and the team deserves it. I can tell you. I'm glad.
And are you making any changes for the semi-finals then, or are you going to stick to pretty much the same setup?
I'm going to stick to pretty much the same setup for the semi-finals. Then we'll see what happens after that.
Are you feeling confident for the semi-finals?
Yes, I feel confident because this is a nice track and all the public to me is here. I like the public, and this is one of the best places I ever have run in.
Well, here we go, Darryl. This is interesting. What happens here?
Arvid Groden left Shell Solar on the starting line absolutely for dead. Unfortunately, I think they had a little bit of a problem staging, and Arvid took advantage of it, and he moves into his first ever final.
Arvid, a new personal best, the last one, and a win this one. Tell us about this.
Well, what can I tell? I'm really, really happy, and the team has done a tremendous job this weekend and all the weekends and events before that. And we have been working for years, so this felt very good.
Well, here we go. There you are, Arvid Groden through into a final. And I tell you, he's the only guy I know who makes you look tall.
Apart from a 6-year-old, I suppose you mean. Yeah, Arvid's so happy for him to be in the final. Here's the quick word from Ulf Leanders in the other semi.
Feeling pretty confident right now. We had some problems in the qualifying runs with the engine. Now it seems perfectly okay, so now we can give it a little more power, a little more clutch. The track is good as always. Of course, because of the rain, it's not as good as usual, but it's very good anyway.
It's been a very tough and close race, I think so, but I'm gonna kick his ass on the staging line.
Are you feeling confident?
Yeah, I feel very confident.
So have you made any modifications at all for this run, or are you sort of sticking to the same setup?
Yeah, we hope we must drive faster. So Ulf, he have a very fast car, so we must drive faster.
Well, here we go. There you are. You just tell it as it is, Nicholas. You don't beat about the bush at all. These two very, very close together on qualify now. Away together, and it's Ulf Leanders just out in front. Nicholas trying to come back at the top end, but that 590, a great win for the man from Sweden, and I'm sure next year he is going to be up the top.
We are very happy now that we ran this 590 against Nicholas, and it just feels good to go on and move into the final here.
Did you see Nicholas at any point?
After the finish line, and that felt good.
Well, there you are. It sets up our final, Darryl.
Yeah, two of the hardest races out here in Top Methanol Funny Car. Two more deserving teams this year you won't find as well. Ulf Leanders, after being number 2 in the title chase last year, has had a horrible season, but back on form again for the finals weekend, up against first-time finalist Arvid Groden. I mean, that team have had blown engines. They even broke the supercharger last year. They had all sorts of different problems, and it's absolutely wonderful that he's got through to the final and running personal bests as well.
There's a slightly different looking car here. They're both funny cars, of course, but one looks more modern than the other.
Yeah, Arvid's car is what Ulf used to have actually. It's an old Mustang. It's around about a 96 Mustang. And Ulf's car is a virtually brand new Firebird, as you can see from the difference in the body styles. But so far today, Arvid has actually run quicker than Ulf has. So, I mean, it's still anybody's race. Arvid's run a 588. Ulf has run a 590, so it really should be very close.
Well, here we go, up to the start line. This is the big one then, folks. And we already know that Urs Urbacher is the champion. Where will these two end up in the championship this year? Ulf Leanders, Arvid Grodem, just really chirping these cars up to the start line. They come up into pre-stage. You can see those staging lights so clearly. We're now in the night time, and away we go. I would like to say that Arvid Grodem got away first, but Darrell, of course, it was a red light.
Arvid probably too excited at being in his first ever final. That's all you can say about it. Ulf Leanders through the blowout at half track, and you can see Arvid rolls through stage out in front, but unfortunately it was an ill-gotten gain, and Ulf Leanders takes his first and only win of the 2005 season.
Yeah, it feels very good right now. I saw that Arvid red lighted, and second red light in our favor this race, but what can you do? We take it, and everybody else would take it, and I'm happy for this win. Where the whole team has struggled so hard the whole this year. We have problems everywhere on the car with new bought parts that haven't been, the quality haven't been enough.
Urs Urbacher retains his FIA Top Methanol Funny Car crown, but what a way to do it. Out in the first round on a red light, he hardly ever makes mistakes, and then guess what? Poor old Dan Larsen had the chance to nip him at the final hurdle in Top Methanol Funny Car in 2005. Unfortunately, he red lit as well. He'll be back next year to contest the championship. Urs Urbacher, however, moving on to FIA Top Fuel. That leaves FIA Top Methanol Dragster for 2005 to be decided. Dave Wilson really just needs to turn up and qualify to win the championship here, but there's still a race to be won.
If we look back at the season, what happened at the main event? Do you remember?
Well, we started off pretty good. I think we won that event. I believe we probably set a new record. I think we ran a 42 at that event. So that was an improvement. Well, obviously the same deal as I was talking about, working on the car, trying to improve the car. It worked that day. The result came in winning the round, obviously then getting the lead of the championship. That puts you in a comfortable position going into a multi-round championship, makes you feel comfortable for the next round.
And we moved on to Finland. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I don't know whether we did a track record or not there, but we certainly won that again. Tricky conditions in Finland, sometimes the weather wasn't as friendly as it could have been. Therefore, it took a lot of care tuning the car for the conditions. And again, we came out on top with that, fortunately. That gave us 2 rounds where we'd won, which made us feel a lot more comfortable going into the third round.
And third round, that was Mantorp Park.
Yeah, that was Mantorp Park, and we were hoping to maybe try and win there. I mean, I said we don't normally try and think about things like that, but we tune it one run at a time. But I think if we had won that race, then we'd have pretty well been set fair for the championship. That didn't happen. The rain interrupted the proceedings. At that point, we were on our game again. We were at the number 1 position. That was fine, but rain stopped play. That was the end of that.
And here we are at European finals. We got a little bit of rain, but we did manage to qualify yesterday. And Christer Johansson did quite a storming run there.
Absolutely, all power to him. Christer is a guy with a combination that we're keeping a weather eye on all the time. We know that combination will eventually work better than it does at the moment, and it will become consistent. And we're trying to keep our game as good as we can, but we're aware he's there, and we may have to think about that sometime in the future.
Yeah, and we do have a couple of other guys that's really quick too.
Oh, we got quick competitors behind us all the time. I mean, this class may not have dozens and dozens of cars in it, but the cars that are in it are all really, really close. Really committed racers, really committed sponsors. We wouldn't do it without ACI, Silverline, PlayStation, all the other people who support us. That's all very important.
Well,
Well, a man who's come here on a high, let me tell you, is that man with that unusual setup, Christer Johansson from Sweden, number 2 qualifier. He must be feeling absolutely elated.
Christer, I think everyone knows that you're running a different combination than the others. If you try to explain the difference to us, what is it?
It's nitromethane directly injected to the engine, so I have no blower compared to the other ones. And it's a direct drive, no transmission at all, just direct drive.
So the class is actually called Top Methanol Dragster, but you do have the possibility to run with nitromethane instead.
That's right, that's right. That's the way I started in 1977 with this injected nitro car. And I ran that for 3 years and I thought I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, looking back at the season now, what do you have to say about that? It started out rather good.
Yes, it did, but we have some breakage and it's been a roller coaster season because of all those breakage, and we think we've fixed that, and it starts to run now, and hoping for a good season next year.
Well, you did a storming run yesterday here.
Yes, personal best 5:49 with a 2:61 top speed, so it was great.
And you still think you have a lot more into it?
I mean, there's at least a tenth more in it, at least, and a couple of miles as well, so we're looking forward to that one.
Yeah, we were talking earlier here that you're actually leaving the line quite slow as it is right now.
Yes, we have, I won't say problem, but we're working on the 60-foot times here, so we can pick up 500s there at least.
And I guess 500s at the start of the track, that means more at the end of the track, doesn't it?
It means 700 or 800s down the track, so that's going to be great taking up that one.
Well, I definitely wish you good luck for this one.
Thank you very much.
Well, here we are then. It's the finals. We're at Santa Pod, Top Methanol Dragster. Isn't it just so nice to see so many cars back in this class again?
Fantastic news for the class, mainly because the racing is always fantastic in Top Methanol Dragster. Very, very close indeed. And it's great to have another combination thrown into the mix with Christer Johansson with the A-Fuel Dragster. As you said, no supercharger, but nitro in the tank. The car leaves the line quite softly, as he says, but comes on like a train from half track onwards. So, first pair that came out in the first round, well, as they qualified, this was the decider for number 2 in the championship. Whoever gets to the finish line first is number 2. After a whole season of racing all around Europe, all those miles, all that money and all that work, it comes down to this.
Yeah, indeed. So closest to the camera, it's Peter Schürfer from Germany up against Great Britain's Rob Turner. Now, Schürfer and Turner have met so many times in the past. I would think it's fairly even Steven on wins, but this is critical. So up to the start line we go. Now then, they're almost identical away from the start line. And it's Schürfer moving around all over the track, but Rob Turner takes it. Wow, that was close. 5:57 in both lanes, but it's Rob Turner who will now move into the number 2 spot in the championship.
Yeah, the championship's already decided in favour of Dave Wilson. That's the very important number 2 place, just gone to Britain's Rob Turner, so well done to the whole team. Anyway, moving into our next quarter-final round, Christer Johansson in the monster A-Fuel car in the left-hand lane, up against Germany's Timo Habermann. Timo Habermann ran his personal best in qualifying, as did Christer Johansson, but they moved away from the starting line together. Timo had a few problems, was all over the racetrack, and Christer, that car is astounding. 5:45 at a huge 260 miles an hour. What more can you say, but stunning.
Well, that's his quickest run again of the weekend, and the quickest run in that car. And it's so nice for me to see him being back in contention again, because when I first came to the sport in the early 1980s, he was, in Top Methanol, the force to be reckoned with.
Well, both Dave Wilson, as we see here in the American Car Imports car, and Christer Johansson used to go toe-to-toe 25 years ago.
Yes.
It's just great to see. Up against John Parkinson, talk about David and Goliath. The American Car Imports squad car with Dave Wilson at the helm flies away from the starting line on his way to another superbly quick run. A 5:56, not quite as quick as Christer, my goodness.
Yeah.
That hardly ever happens. Up against John Parkinson, the team are just getting used to driving that car, used to running that car, but he'll still be happy with his weekend going home in one piece.
Well, that sets up our semi-finals. Dave Wilson on a bye, courtesy of being number 1 qualifier, and straight through he will go into the final. And of course, that race that I'm really looking forward to, Christer Johansson against Rob Turner. Here's Dave Wilson.
All right, Dave, we'll start off by saying congratulations for winning the championship. You've already done that, but how did the quarterfinals go for this event?
Well, we had a pretty soft tune-up for that round. We weren't too sure what the track was like. Seems to be better than we expected, so we're tuning it up some more for this round.
Well, there you are. That's dramatic words. Tuning it up on this round, Darryl.
Oh dear, unfortunately looks
hello,
like
firework display.
Blowing it up as well, not just tuning it up. I think a big clutch problem for the ACI racing car there. On closer inspection, as you can see the car move away from the line like a rocket. I think the team really stood on it for this one, but unfortunately something just letting go. Sometimes the best parts that money can buy can't unfortunately take what punishment that these racers give to them. Dave's still in the final, but we'll have to see whether he can make it back. So the other semi-final, as you mentioned, John, Rob Turner for Great Britain up against Christer Johansson in the monster A fuel car in what will be a monster matchup.
Well, indeed, and these two, not much to choose between them. Christer was number 2 qualifier, Rob number 3. Let's get some words from them.
All right, Rob, through into the semi-finals. How's it all gone for you this event?
It's gone very well for us. It's been a nightmare with the weather. We lost a couple of qualifying sessions, but we've won the first round and secured the second place in the championship, which is our best finish since 2001.
Congratulations, that's really good. So are you wanting to win this main event, of course, I'm sure, like everybody else? And have you made any modifications to your car?
We've just made a few slight changes, but just going for consistency, basically.
Well, here we go then, up to the start line, and this is going to be close. When you get them so closely qualified together. Hey, and it looks as though Rob Turner whole shots Christer Johansson.
A very slight hole shot. Christer coming on like a train at the other end, nearly takes the barrier with him trying to catch Rob Turner. A new European speed record for Christer Johansson, but he loses to the methanol dragster of Rob Turner. You can see Rob's got a car length on him away from the starting line, but then the power of the A fuel car comes in, and Christer nearly makes it, nearly gets there, but unfortunately, as you can see, he drives it right down the guardrail. Very, very brave man, but still a happy one.
Rob, that looked like a really close one.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether I won or not, just like the first round. It's been some close racing this weekend, but we ran our best DT of the weekend on that, 5:53, and we've been struggling all year, but it looks like we've got the performance back.
Well, this sets up the final. And it's going to be the two Brits, Rob Turner against Dave Wilson. But Dave Wilson having that problem with the car on the last run. And indeed, when it's final time, there's one car only coming out to the start line. It's Rob Turner. The damage to Dave Wilson's car, too much to fix, Darryl.
Yeah, by the looks of it, unfortunately, Dave can't make it back. What a heartbreaking way to end a fantastic season. Rob Turner, all he needed to do was stage to take the event win, and he does it with ease.
I'm here now with Keith Bartlett, promoter of the FIA European Drag Racing Championships. Keith, we're at the final event. What's it looking like for 2006?
Basically, the main thing is we start with a new round in April. We go to Bahrain for the first round of next year's championship in, I hope, sunny, warm climes compared to where we've been today. So that's great as an additional round. We've got Pro Mod coming to the FIA Championship next year. There's something like 39 Pro Mod cars. That's just going to be fantastic. I think next year's looking really, really exciting. We say it every year and we're not very often let down, but 2006 looks to be really exciting.
Okay, well, I'm sure it will be. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Well, there you are. Top methanol dragster champion again, it's Dave Wilson. I'll tell you what though, Darryl, it's been a crazy year in terms of the weather, hasn't it?
Well, I can't remember a year that weather has affected the racing so much. We've still got the season in the books. Everybody still ran very quick and very fast indeed, but I mean, what a year. Racing didn't start, unfortunately, on the finals day at Santa Pod till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The team did a fantastic job, got all the racing in and got the champion's crown. The way that everybody wanted to go out in 2005, racing for it as hard as possible.
Yeah, indeed, and because it promises so much for 2006. Lots of names either coming into the sport or coming back to the sport. 2006 is going to be a fantastic year. Get your prayer mats out, let's pray for good weather.